For the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Did you see another truck rolled over there at the,
Again,
at the
another
turn?
one?
Yeah, same place.
But
Same
they go
spot.
like 100 miles.
So we're gonna, we don't have anyone signed up for public comments. There are no announcements, I believe, on any kind of disclosure of conflict of interest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Didi forgot to sign it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Didi.
Didi,
Good evening.
you can come up here. I mean, just make sure we have the green button on.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City of Odem. My name is Didi Mendez. I'm with GrantWorks. I will be your client services manager. I am here to introduce myself. And I'm from Alice. I was promoted to client services about 3 weeks ago. I've been with GrantWorks about 5 years. Prior to this, I was their project manager for the American Rescue Plan. So I just came to introduce myself. I already met Ms. Lisa, and we're going to have a meeting in the next couple of days to see what the city's needs are, priorities, and what grants are out there to assist.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Didi, and I appreciate you coming out and making the time to come and visit with us. I think I have seen your name on some of the emails when we were working through the ARPA funds and the project there. I think it was Lily, was that? Who was it?
Yes, I
So-
was assigned to Odem, and then when she came in, they transferred this project to her.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it, and we'll definitely be in contact with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
So, Mr. Vargas, you wanna,
I'll wait till the topic comes up.
okay, which one's the topic? What's the topic?
The police.
Okay. All righty, so we will move on. I would like to start with, instead of going through the non-action items first, we'd like to go ahead and move through and get the item D under the discussion and action items. Discuss, consider, and take action to approve the resolution to declare June 2026 as Lions Club International Month in Odem, Texas, honoring the Lions' commitment to service and humanitarian assistance. I know that we have some Lions here, and we don't want you guys to have to kind of go through the whole thing before we get to y'all. So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution for declare June 2026 Lions Club International Month.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Falcon, second by Alderman Veit. And so we'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. Yes, you guys have Frank, you want to come up and,
Come on, Lions.
well,
Thank you so much for recognizing Lions Club in our community and around the world. This is Lion Frank Franklin, Lion Becky De La Rosa, Lion Tracy Bierman, Lion Marvin Palanca, and Lion Councilmember Jesse Falcone, and Lion County Commissioner Ruben Gonzalez. Come on, Ruben. Come on around.
Can I get back?
And Lisa, could you take a picture? We want to share with everybody that we are going to be hosting an Earth Day celebration here in the library. Thank you, City of Odem. Thank you, librarian Donna Hutchins. It'll be for children up to 3rd grade. And we are going to have Lion Leonardo, who is typically our Lion Marvin Palanca here, and Mr. Kippy. We're going to have some songs and some other fun and an environmental project that the children will get to take home. And it's for children up
yay.
through third
Thank you.
grade. And we have some, we'll get over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We invite you all to consider joining us in Lions Club. We are a community service organization. And in Lions, we have 8 focus areas. We have childhood cancer, diabetes, environment, hunger, vision, disaster relief, humanitarian aid, and the environment, obviously. We're doing Earth Day celebration. And in addition to that, clubs are common. We have Lions Club International, which has been around since 1917. Our club has been here since 2016. And in June, our club will celebrate our 10th anniversary, and Lions Club will celebrate its 109th, I believe it is, 1916 anniversary. And that's why the City Council has recognized Lions Club International for the month of June. So we do have some more flyers if you'd like to take one, if you have a child or a grandchild that would like to come to the library and play and learn something about growing food. We'll be happy to have them. And we will get out of your way.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the resolution here before we take a vote. Resolution 2026-2, a resolution of the City of Odem, Texas, adopting June 2026, the Odem Area Lions Club International Month. Whereas the City of Odem, Texas recognizes the Odem Area Lion Club International, the world's largest service organization that was founded on June 7th, 1917. And whereas the Odem Area Lions Club was chartered on June 23rd, 2016, now celebrating a 10-year anniversary. And whereas the City of Odem, Texas has been informed of these anniversaries by the Odem Area Lions Club, and whereas the Lions Club International has over 1.4 million lions in over 200 countries around the world, and where the Odem Area Lions Club has made a positive impact on our community through projects such as vision screening and hearing screenings of children in school and Head Start programs, planting trees in the Odem Veterans Freedom Park, hosting a peace poster contest at the Odem Junior High School, funding the OEISD Weekend Backpack Program to provide food for needy children from Odem and Edroy, sponsoring children to the Texas Lions Camp for Children with Disabilities, type A diabetes and Down syndrome, assisting with COVID-19 drive through vaccination clinics, providing donations of bottled water and snacks to the Odem Volunteer Fire Department, donating toys to support the city's Christmas in the Park, participating in the city's Halloween in the Park, providing environmental books and projects for the Odem Public Library, providing scholarship opportunities for seniors of OEISD, supplying food to the Odem Community Blessing Box, supporting disaster recovery efforts in Kerrville, providing an annual health and wellness fair for the community, as well as many other projects. And whereas the Odem Area Lions Club supports Lion Club charities, the District 2-83 LEO's program, site program, fund and opportunities for youth scholarship programs, the Lions Club International Foundation, Texas Lions Foundation, Texas Lions Camp for Children with Disabilities, Type 1 Diabetes and Down Syndrome, Texas Lions Museum, Leader Dog for the Blind, Lions Eye Bank of Texas, World Service for the Blind, and Texas Lions Eyeglass Recycling Program. And whereas Lions across the globe in the last year completed 1.5 million projects, provided over 24,000 financial grants, and served over 410 million people in the areas of childhood cancer, diabetes, disaster relief, environment, humanitarian aid, hunger, vision, and youth. And whereas we applaud Lions Club International and the Odem Area Lions Club for instilling the values of service to young people and encouraging Lions Club International and the Odem Area Lions Club to continue to emphasize the value of service and improving the community for all people. Now, therefore, Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Odem, Texas, I declare June 26th as Lions Club International Month in Odem, Texas, honoring the Lions' commitment to service and humanitarian assistance, and that a suitable copy of this resolution be prepared and presented to Lions International, passed and adopted this 7th day of April 2026. So thank you. I really appreciate it. So we're going to move on with a vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2,
Yes.
place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5. So the resolution passes. Thank you so much for all you do. Of course, sure.
Do we get behind us or
All right, guys. Yeah, we can stand up right here.
we'll just stand up?
I'll be right.
Got everybody in there?
You know, you don't.
Marvin, come on in,
I'm on
Marvin.
the floor.
Becky, hurry.
I'm here.
Where's Becky?
I'm hiding.
Okay, let me see if I got everybody. I got everybody. Say cheese.
Cheese.
Wait a minute, Isaac. Move a little bit. There you go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Jeez.
Oh, that's great. Great picture, guys.
One more, Jim. Oh,
Okay, one more.
Goodness.
One more.
no cheese, Minerva? No cheese, Minerva?
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll get you a copy of the sign,
Yes, thank you.
Y'all make me tired.
Oh.
Thank you for y'all. I know,
Well, let's get it all
I
signed.
know.
Joan. I got the certificate. I gotta give it to you. I did today.
Thank you.
You want to sign in blue?
Buddy said you're retired, go get it. Becky.
If you guys want to wait, we can give you a copy of the resolution signed for you guys.
But I had to do the infinite. From a lion.
Oh, yeah. The nose would have been good.
Here it is. It is a lion.
Thank you, Becky.
Cool.
Now that snack.
Oh, there it is. I was seeing it upside down.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
I was seeing it like this. It's like, I don't see a lion.
Hidden back.
Pass this on to Ms. Lisa. If we can get a copy to them before they leave, so they can. She's got a. All right, so we're going to go and move forward back to the non-action items. Item A, historical review of Odem Municipal Court's Office of Court Administration reports and review of municipal courts fund balances. This is, we'll just have to wait till Ms. Lisa gets back, and she and Ms. Betsy, our finance manager, administrator, will kind of go over that report with us. All right, Ms. Lisa, so there's been a non-action items, the historical review of the Odem report. So do you want to have everything up there? You wanna
Okay,
discuss-
everybody. I'm gonna walk you through this in a clear and transparent way so we can better understand the current financial standing when it comes to the municipal court account. So in reviewing the court financials from 2018 to 2023, because we had an established police department, we see a significant amount of revenue deposited into the municipal court account. I provided an example of the report that is submitted on the 20th of each month to the Office of the Court Administration, Texas Judicial Council, which is short as the OCA. This is a Texas agency operating under the Supreme Court to ensure the efficient operation of the judicial branch. This example is from March of 2026. This is just to show you how I got the next reports that are titled Municipal Court Status and their numbers. And just a quick note, so if you look at page 2, we still have 4,123 total citations that have not been resolved. So,
Can you make that a little bit bigger?
Page 2.
which is there at the bottom, it'll show you the 4,000 that have not been
Right.
resolved.
Okay,
Line out of 12.
4123.
Scroll down.
There.
Okay. So active cases means the cases awaiting entry of a judgment that the court can move disposition, which means entry of a final judgment. So there are 1,223 of those cases. Most of these cases are currently in the payment plan. The inactive cases that you see there are 2,390. These are cases where the defendant has just absconded. However, in these cases, Linebarger and the municipal court clerk are actively sending out letters monthly. In addition, Linebarger is now texting these defendants to the last known cell phone number and no charge to the city, informing them of their citation that is still pending. Since there's no PD, we cannot issue any warrants for these cases. However, in order to get these individuals to come in and to make a payment at some point, the municipal court judge places an omni hold on their driver's license, which the hold will only get lifted if the defendant comes in and resolves their citation. So that happens usually whenever the driver's license expires and they have to go renew their driver's license. This hold shows up. They will not have, they cannot renew their driver's licenses until they come to the city of Odem to resolve their case.
Real quick, is that those are on the active cases, the 1,200 active cases that we have?
No, it's
So
on
the
the
1,233 active cases right now, those are ones.
On
that
the
are
payment
on the
plan.
payment plan.
Okay,
Okay.
so these are the inactive cases.
These are the
Okay,
inactive
perfect.
cases.
I understood.
So on the last page, you will see the total balance that was collected for the month of March of 2026 and how much the city actually kept for that month.
Which is saying
So that's-
Which we're going where?
what we're doing.
Okay.
We go to page 5 now. Scroll down.
A little bit more.
So they will show you, it breaks it down for you, it says, kept by city. And then how much this, we have to pay for the state. So let's move on to the municipal court analysis.
So on this one here, you can basically say that's on all the active cases.
On all inactive cases?
No, active, right?
Active cases.
That's what we made off the active cases only.
Right.
So the other ones are still pending out there.
Well, they're still pending, they're sending out letters, they're texting now. They do that on a monthly basis, which is
Right.
Linebarger and municipal court.
Right.
clerk. let's move on to the court statuses real quick. So,
Which is-
in these reports, the collections noted are from January to December.
What page is on this, right?
Right, just hold on to that for just 1 minute, because we're gonna go back to that. So from January to December, this is how the OCA works. I understand that our fiscal year starts from October 1st to September the 30th, but there's really no significant difference in the numbers by looking at this way. So included in these reports are the number of citations that were written for the year by the PD.
So can we have that report? What am I looking at?
I'll show you. You're gonna go to the municipal court.
Oh,
those,
down
right
to the
there, all those
reports.
Pages right there. So it
Okay,
breaks it down in the year, so I provided y'all 2018, I provided y'all the numbers for whenever the PD was active. So from 2018, and then there's 2019, there's 2021,
mm-hmm,
I gave y'all a bunch of those
Yep.
reports.
column,
So in these reports, if you look, it breaks it down quarterly, and it breaks it down on how much the total amount was for the year. It also shows you how many citations were written by the PD department. It's also gonna give you the total balance.
So let's go to 2018.
So it'll show you the total balance, and then it also is gonna break it down to how much the city kept and how much we paid to the state for that year.
that's a different year.
Is this a?
That's
can
a
you scroll
different
down?
year.
Like, if we go to 20,
We're on 2018.
Mhm.
She's showing something different.
So this is from 2018 to 2019.
No.
I also included
No,
okay,
how many,
no, that's it. You come down. That's it,
okay,
that's 2018. right there.
right, that's whenever it started. So we had a chief and 4 PD officers in 2018. And then if you keep on going down, I also put, 2019 to 2020, we had a chief plus 5 PD officers, 5 to 6 for the year.
And hold on, so
And it shows you how much we kept, how much the city
I've
kept.
already looked at all of this.
on the little box to the right-hand side,
Right.
that's it.
That right there gives a total of how much the city actually collected in that year, but then you have to break it down on how much the city kept and how much the state kept.
Okay, and that was 5, that was
That
the
one was
chief,
to the chief
was
and
5 or
5
6,
officers.
6
yeah.
officers.
and
And then it also included the citations that were written for that year. Like in this year, 1,774 citations were written. And that's how much we collected.
so do we know what the city police department's budget was that year? Or are we gonna go over that?
We're gonna go over.
Okay. That won't be too bad, so.
I also want to include how many PD were employed, so I put it there for y'all. And this is very important to note because we depend on the amount of citations that are written for the year in order to make the financial amount that the city actually keeps. Okay, so for example, this year 1,700 citations were written and the city was able to keep, the city was able to keep 200,000, 228,000 that year.
What year was that? 24, 25?
29, 20, 19, 20.
1920. Okay. And you know, the thing about this is too, is that a PD officer is gonna pull over somebody and it doesn't guarantee that a person's gonna come in and make their payment. It's just not, and it's proven by the 2,390 cases that we still have pending because these people never came in to make their payment.
So there was a 1,734 citations between the chief and 5 or 6 PD officers. And the city was only collected, or only kept at 228,000.
Right.
And that was at the time too, wasn't it?
What year are you looking at, Mayor?
That same year that's up there, 2019, 20.
1920.
So if you can pull out this chart, because
This
I'm gonna go over, you can pull out this chart right here that I provided.
what happens is that, which, can I call you Lisa?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. When we sent the report to OCA.
Right.
Okay, there's monies that we're gonna have, that we pay, quarterly to the state controllers. What, Lisa was explaining is what goes to these pots, the technology, the port security, to these different pots, that money is already within the fine, that stays with the city. Whatever stays with the cities, which is are the fines, that's already, that includes that money. Then, that's in the port cost, okay? The port cost, they pull out what stays with the city, plus the fines, and then then they divide these, pull these out into these pots. Then the rest of the port cost, that goes to the controllers.
What I'm saying, Judge, I know what you're talking about. We got all these tickets here. I know, but we're not collecting nothing. I mean, how many we got? 2,000
We have
outstanding?
2,300.
So does the OCA even know that we had, do those tickets go to the OCA? What are those tickets? They just,
This is very common in all the municipality courts, that these are uncollectible. That's why we call them cold cases, because of the lack of resources that the courts have. And so, a lot of these individuals don't have driver's license, and so the courts don't have any teeth on collecting these. And so we're at the mercy of people's pay, because we don't have means to collect them unless we send them to collection agencies. This is where Lineberger, comes in. This is very common on all the courts.
but that brings me to another question. When they want to renew their driver's license, is there a hold?
We have a whole,
And those 2,000 people, we have hold on those driver's licenses, correct?
we're not saying that all of them have driver's license, because,
Well, they got tickets. So
no, it doesn't matter.
I think
Not
they got
everybody
tickets.
has
I mean,
driver's
yeah.
license.
Most of them do.
Some of them don't have driver's license.
Yeah.
They just got the ticket and they don't have driver's license, and they might have gotten the ticket for no driver's license. They probably got the ticket
Okay.
for speeding,
But
So that goes, another
You
category.
better do an attempt to collect.
Yes, yes, yes.
Several times.
Yes.
Before you even
Collections, yeah.
make you initiate where you can go to DMV, right? You still gotta attempt.
Well,
these are the cases that are
Definitely,
sent to
that's why
Yeah.
we have Lineberger,
Right.
because they have more resources
Yeah.
than the police department has, and also the courts have. So that's what, they have a lot of resources, like they have credit and, they have a lot of locators also. But if you don't have a driver's license, that's another resource in getting these people, right? So they don't, right here, the traffic that y'all have, there's a lot of people that, and it's everywhere, people don't drive.
We got a lot from the
driver's
valley and
license.
stuff that don't, come through.
There's a lot of people who don't have driver's license.
So looking at these charts, they dropped the ball in 2018. That's what I'm figuring. They didn't collect, they didn't do nothing for me.
It was kind of low. I mean, it's low.
Yeah.
It was
well,
starting
but-
out pretty
but
low.
Then it started picking up.
Yeah, I picked up.
So,
Yeah, so
Miss,
still we get all those, so we should have
hold on, folks.
2,000.
Miss Betsy, Miss Lisa, either one of y'all, and then I probably know the answer to this already. And I know what the judge is explaining. We get the city's portion of the citation revenue has to be divided into these other separate accounts. Has that been done in the past? Do we have these funds separated inside our financial system?
It has never been done before, but I've worked on pulling them all out.
Okay.
Now, if we had Encode, it would be able to do that, correct? Fund view, does Fund view and
This is the journal entry that should be being made on a monthly basis. So then there's that, and this is all the liability, and this is setting up the fund. And now whenever we're paying something out of the fund, we should have a fund set up in there for like the technology and building security. Whenever we purchase something that's technology for the court, you should have an expense that goes against that, and whatever is at the end, that's your fund balance. That's what's left over. that you
Right.
Carry over.
So you're working on that right now, but it wasn't done in the past.
No.
Okay. And I know
Like a
that,
Separate ledger,
It's like, it's a ledger within.
that particular line item.
Yes.
Just like what happened with the bookkeeper that did not keep a ledger on the grants,
Mhm.
and that's what got us in
Yes.
trouble later.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's what.
so,
To be all kept within the system.
right.
Now, what
Okay.
Jesse was saying, I think his question was, if there's a ticket issued from an officer via computer, because that's what we use, the court gets the ticket, but the state doesn't. So that's what you were trying to ask, Jesse, like if.
Well, yeah,
the state
so,
knows, but they don't.
Yeah.
so they can, those tickets can easily get lost too, right, in the system?
Well, the-
Correct? Is that
Well, it
correct?
goes to the court.
They can't get lost in the system, like deleted?
Well, the
Because
state
the state
doesn't know until we collect,
Right.
and then
That's
when
what I'm
we
saying.
collect, and then, so the state won't know until we make
process
the
it.
collection, so, yeah.
There's a
so.
person behind the computer, so,
Right.
I mean, anybody can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What is the percent that the state keeps?
Like the percent, it depends on what the citation.
Of the amount of the fine.
Because if you look at 2018, the total monies the city got and the state, if you look at 23, 24, city kept that much money and then to pay the state, looks like the percentages are a little different.
I think it depends on what the type of,
The citations?
yes.
Okay.
If it's a
And also these carry over, don't they?
belt, it's different than.
So these came off of the
So they carry over?
OCA, so they're not like Excel spreadsheets that you guys put.
No.
These are actual numbers that came out of the
They don't carry over, do they?
I'm sorry?
They don't carry over, do they?
No.
No, they can't.
So the cases don't carry over? They gotta carry over every year? We don't.
The outstanding
The
cases?
outstanding cases don't carry over? Or
Well,
we do?
yeah, like right now, but I'm talking about with these reports.
Oh, yeah.
These are all new citations.
Yeah. But the last 18, 19, 20, they.
They're all brand new citations that were issued for that year. And with the amount of officers also that were able to bring in that type of revenue in order to have that type of revenue come in.
Um,
It'd be nice to have seen the budget on those years too.
I think we're gonna go through that. Are we gonna go through the budget?
So,
So this 25, 26 is what we have
It's
now.
current, yes.
Current, what we have right
It's
now.
current. That's what we have right now.
So I went through and recategorized a lot of the expenses to see what it would look like, what the funds should be. And I think there is some probably that needs to be done on it, because I've got like $29,878 for building security fund. I would imagine, and then 31,000 was the total.
And that's based on the balance that we have right now?
This is what came out of Fund View. This is 2018 to 3/31/26. This is the total amount.
Do we have that?
paid to the state, 760.
How come I can't find that? Okay, I see it, I'm sorry.
Or not, it's not just pay the state, it's also collection agency fee, so that would be Odem Barker.
That was from what time, from what year to what year?
This would be since
2018
the
to the
beginning of
present?
funding.
And this was total collections, or that was, um,
It was total collections between 2018 to now.
or what the city kept, or overall?
That'd be overall, isn't it?
Looks like it's overall.
This would be the total kept by the city.
Oh, the bottom portion, okay.
The top part is what was paid out to the state.
Okay, okay.
So building security fund, 31,000. Technology fund, 28,000. Municipal jury, 500.
So that, which one did they put in pool cash?
They put,
Pretty at 1.2 million, right? Pretty much? It has to be it, because the other one, the state, you can't budge on the state.
well,
So that
they
1.2 million is gonna go to the city, so that went straight to the general fund probably.
they put it all into municipal, into the bank account, the municipal bank account. And then whenever they paid it out of pool cash on some of these, and some of these it was paid from municipal.
You don't have a breakdown on that, right, probably?
So the
But
money
we
was,
never- We never saw that. They never showed that.
And the journal entries,
Are you sure?
this,
Are you sure they went into?
and I guess maybe it's like a mixture, because some of the stuff, the municipal court costs were paid out of full cash. And it may be the money may have actually came from the municipal court, but there's journal entries that have it coming from full cash. And so we're being like duplicates, because what FundView was designed to do is it puts a liability on the books. Whenever that liability is paid out, it should just be cashed out and the liability goes down. But what we were doing, we were putting cash out the door and an expense. So the liability within Encode is huge. It shows we owe like $600,000 to the state.
Yeah.
We're actually probably like $700,000. We know we don't owe. They would have knocked me at our door.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
so I know that, and I think that we've seen since you've been here and since our previous city administrator, there were sheets of transfers of monies from these accounts into pool cash. Unfortunately, when we look at the bank statements, you can see where monies were transferred out and put into pool cash. What we don't have is those, the bank does not keep the transfer. It just shows that money was taken out of one account and deposited into another account. We don't know what it was for. We don't know what it was covered, because those transfer sheets were not weren't kept or have gone missing for many of these years. So we do know that there was some money being moved around. What we don't know is what it was for, because we don't have that documentation. And I asked the bank a while back when the previous city administrator was here to provide us, and they said, we don't keep that. That's just kind of an online journal entry kind of thing, and it doesn't really save anywhere. So going back to this, what you're looking at revenue, those numbers are based on going back to 2018 to the present. So is there like a total that should be in these separate accounts?
So if we never spent any, if the court never spent anything on technology, the fund balance should be $28,952. The building security should be $31,000. So if the money was never touched,
So
it went
buildings,
into there, we should have $1.2 million.
So the
But we
only
did
money,
spend money.
so the only money that was put in there was the money that was allotted to the city.
Yes.
So everything else was pulled out. That's not being touched, right?
Well, so whenever we did spend like the 28,000 for the municipal technology, and that's what I was pulling out through going through all the entries. And this is estimated balances.
But
of
the
what
city didn't
fund
take
balance-
100% of that money. They took out what was supposed to be taken out.
The state?
Mm.
Mhm.
No, they're talking about the city.
So the 28,952, that was what we collected went for our technology. And my estimation is like about $64,000 is how much we spent on expenses. So that one would have a zero balance. And now building security, which would have $31,885 is what we collected. And we've only spent 1,900 of it, which would mean out of the $318,000 showing in the bank account, about 30,000 of it we need to use on building security.
Or we have to allocate it to, if we're not going to use it right now, it needs
Yeah,
to
we don't have
be
use it.
allocated
It
to,
just needs to be-
So that's in pool cash, correct?
That's in the municipal court bank account.
Okay. And that's, how much is that? Again?
It's 318, but
Yeah.
about 30,000 of it is building part. And then about probably a little $524 of that side, so that's 318 is to reimburse juries.
Yeah.
26,000 is the juvenile case manager.
so beside,
We don't do that truancy, do we? We do that because that's taking care of schools.
hmm,
According to Fund View, we've collected $26,000 in truancy. And it may not be, it may be just juvenile cases. And that's what.
so besides what we're looking at here, the funds that should be allocated for these specific, the additional funds that are left after we move, if everything was working the way it should have, the additional funds, is there anything in here, what those additional funds, can you get that information out of this report from the state of what those funds can be used for?
Well, yeah, that in the TMCEC, it'll tell you what you can use the funds for.
Where
I mean, it breaks it down for you.
where are we looking at?
This is-
Like, I know there wasn't a section in the report about the safety that should it set up. That was the building security.
Was this in this right here?
It's all in there.
Okay.
It's all in there.
I have a question. Did you have a section for jury?
$524.
But I don't think we never had a jury case. Since I could see, we've never had one.
You still have it.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying, but we never had one.
If you would serve, you would donate your $10 back.
Yes, sir.
Well, shit.
How much is it now? $6.
Now, we're
Yeah, one jury trial will eat up that.
And then where do you get the money from? You gotta go to pool cash.
This, the 2018, I know it looks low, but the PD was started in October 2018.
Right.
So
It's only
right here
3
where you
months.
put that there was the chief and four police officers. No, we only had the chief in October 2018. We were collecting from San Pat County. The court was still in progress. like now that we're collecting money with OPD, well, that's what we're doing.
So that's, yeah, and look at that, how much we collect for San Pat County.
Right.
So we have that contract, right?
So they did all the paperwork.
Yeah, but
So it's
this,
from,
this year
so
was
it's from
collected.
2018 to 2019, because on the next page is 2018 to 2019, there was a chief and 4 to 6 PD officers.
Well, October
So-
2018,
Right, right.
so that's why the numbers are low. Yeah, because 386 tickets compared to 3,000, 2,400, 3,000, so yeah, it's a big difference.
That's what I was saying. They had to roll over. 'Cause we can get 3,000 tickets in one year. Can we get 3,000 tickets?
Yes.
No, those are violations.
Divided by 12,
There's
divided by 12.
2,360
Divided by 12,
citations,
divided.
but that was 3,000 violations, so meaning that if one ticket could have had 2 violations.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
that makes sense.
See, and again, it's at the discretion of the courts to dismiss it or to have deferred adjudication with a lower fee, am I correct?
Epi, can you do an audit of that? Since you were there. Audit, you were there. If I got to look at the archives.
So I'm kind of trying to go through this and make sense of this. When you said that 100% city, even though it says 100% city, and I'm looking at specifically like state fines, I guess, under the local traffic fines or LTF, it says, I guess, section 542 transportation code. And this applies to rules of the road offenses. It says 100% city, but that doesn't mean that there's still certain things that have to be that allocated to, correct?
Right, right.
Which would be under this particular section, 542. Would that be where we would find?
Right. Mhm.
Okay.
You would have to go look it up. Now, Encode breaks all that down for you, and it'll tell you exactly everything. on
So
where
that's, so what
everything
you're
is.
showing is here, all those are taken out already, right?
Right. Yes.
So, yeah.
So right now, have all these separate little accounts been established?
They're in code now, but they're new in there.
Yeah, because they were not in there. So they're in there now.
So all these new monies that are coming in can start going into separate accounts?
It's still gonna stay in the municipal court account, bank account, like it is right now, 811,000. But we need to be sure that we're not spending money that we're not supposed to be spending, that are meant for something else. You know,
But you also, since you have everything, do you have everything correct now? Like you have it lined up,
yes,
so then you shouldn't have court money going into the court and then you having to pull it out for cash, right? Are you still having to pull out?
Sure.
like from the pool cash.
Yeah,
We haven't, the pool cash is still needs to be reconciled. Municipal court still needs to be reconciled. That has not been done yet.
Has not been done.
That's being done right now by Waco.
Okay.
By the people.
And then how the pool cash is set up is because like, if the city pays a electricity bill, we don't want to pay TXU 2 checks. We don't want the municipal court to pay a check for their portion and then the city pay for their portion. We're just gonna write 1 check, and that's why we use pool cash. So the system's designed to where it makes those transfers for you. It does all the work for you. So by having it 2 separate, like having the 2 separate bank accounts and then pool cashes and the system is just as one, it makes it, they're not matching each other.
And I think we've had that discussion before where these other accounts that we have, when you're showing the bank account ledger up there, they should be in encode, not separate. And we could manage those accounts easier if they were all inside our financial system instead of out on their own. And well, I hope that with our new CPAs that they're able to help us get that done. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Miss Lisa.
No, that's
Okay.
In 2019, the municipal court switched from Encode to the new system. I remember there was a lot of stuff that was lost. Was Encode.
It's been in Encode, there's old records in.
They were
Well,
Encode.
I know it's there, but I'm talking about them down there.
Yeah, they were also in Encode. And then
They were
they
in
switched to the new system.
Fund.
Yeah, Fund. So I
If we
remember
ever
those.
switched back from FundView to Encode, I don't know how they would handle, because it's like, there was cases, I'm sure they were set up in Encode, and then transferred to FundView, they were closed out in FundView. So if we transfer those cases back, now we're gonna have open cases.
Well, Encode might recognize them as revenue and then throw all the numbers off. So I think that when we go back to Encode at some point, whatever was on FundView, we need to just put out in the cloud somewhere, save that information in case we need it, but we don't need to transfer that over because the previous city administrator and I discussed that previously, and we've spoken to Tyler, and I'm sure you guys have spoken to Tyler because I know we've had this conversation before. We would really need to have we'd have to hire somebody to data transfer all that because it would have to be done manually because they don't communicate with each other. But then again, I think Tyler said that if we did that, it might throw off our financial system completely because it might show that as either revenue or expenses, depending on how they were entered. And then it would just throw off our whole financial system, our financial software or whatever, accounting software. So, okay. All right. Go ahead, Betsy.
We went through and came up with, I looked at the department for the municipal court and the police department, and I tried to separate them out. There were others, like some little odds and ends that should have been in there, and I pulled those out. They should be like general fund. They weren't very much. But then we should also have separate, those should just have like our operating expenses. That shouldn't have our like capital equipment, like our big projects and stuff. Those should be in a different, in its own fund, because it's more of a, it's not something that we've been doing every year.
What are we looking for? Fund financials?
What page is that? What page are you looking at? That's not the first one. Is that the first one?
So it's green. Is it sideways? Oh, well, mine's up and down, so. That's all right. I think it printed.
It looks like this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are, but so we have a breakdown of so this sort of MCW municipal fund or expenses. And the total for municipal would be like 822,000. That would be from 2017 to current. So if we look at 2019, 2020, it's 99,000.
So 822.
It's 830 on ours.
Yeah, we have it at 830 on this one. The MC totals.
Mhm.
So that is,
There was an issue with the payroll taxes, which would affect multiple years.
And I think it's about $25,000 that was put in it in duplicate.
Okay.
Whenever the payroll was done, a journal entry was created, and then whenever going through the debits that came out of the bank accounts, it was put in again.
so that is total expenses for just the municipal court, separate from the PD. But they are both together though in our budget for budgeting.
It should be, I think, separated, just to keep track.
Yeah, because even back in the day, even in the expenses, they would throw everything over to the police department. It should have been split between the EMS, municipal court, and the PD. So every expenditure was just thrown into the police department.
And why was that?
I don't want to say names, but there was a former city secretary that said, that's how.
Thank you.
Right, and if I want that said, PD said, MC on it, that's like the go that's used. And I tried to separate them, so that we classified. This was my spreadsheet. It's like 5 lines. And then it was just
So probably all these budgets for the last, 5, 6 years, I mean, budget. What was this number, was it? Just put numbers together.
But the expenses are pretty close. Like there was just like somebody on there.
Okay. So just the municipal court expenditures from 27 to the present time, we're looking at 830,000. So you're 822, okay. So that's separate from the PD. Okay, so then that's, yeah.
So that pretty much came out of full cash, probably. Whatever it hit. I want to see that budget.
That's gonna be the operating expenses. The PE's operating expenses. Current. So they had the department, the police department, and they had the municipal department. But they never did separate the payroll tax or the retirement. It's just one. So instead of figuring out how many officers to put it into, I just thought.
Go ahead. But you're, yes, sir, secretary, does this make any sense to you? Okay.
Yeah.
When we say we're getting the budget,
And then I also separated out, the grant money. That does seem, this is how it should look, it should be in a separate fund, not in single funds. And I believe some of the expenses either never made it to Encode or they're in Encode, I just don't know how they're, which ones they are in there. But like the uniforms, $31,000, this is something with the,
Check the gear stuff.
yes, the gear. And the vehicles, 38,000. And there was-
What are we looking at? What's the total in grant funds?
Yes.
What was that again, the number?
The expenses that I pulled out of the department, the police department was 31,000 and 38,000. And those other ones might be in there, I just couldn't easily identify that was paid with grant money.
So it's 31,418, is that? Or that was, and then what else?
And then 38. I think that's what- And then there's also the impound. So impound information, it hasn't really ever been put into Encode other than in 2021, $28,000 was spent paying phone services.
In how many years? Since
2021, but we do have a separate register. And this part I was putting on there.
Yeah. What do you got an impound? I'm
This
curious
is
to see what that.
the, on the Excel spreadsheet, 117 in revenue for 2018, 2019, and then 2019, 2020, 117.
So that money went to pool cash or that?
It went into this money went into the impound bank account.
But then it was moved from the impound
And then
into pool cash.
To pay
for
city
whatever.
expenses,
Pretty much.
to pay pretty much to run the city.
And then the only expenses that are for the impound that were in Encode, like the 28,000 in 2021. But there, so that we're missing also 44,000, 57,000, 37 that weren't reported, it was just reported separately.
So where's that money?
So it's hard to see all of the numbers together when they're.
What do you mean when you say reported separately?
Who's important nowhere?
It's on a separate, it's not within the ERP accounting system. It's just on an Excel spreadsheet of keeping track of it. So I don't know how, whenever the money was transferred to pool cash, I don't know how it was being reported that we collected it, because where is it coming from?
Where would auction off vehicles go? Where would that go?
Into the pool cash. I mean, I pulled into the impound account.
Which, my understanding as we were looking through this with the previous administrator,
So this was,
impound fees could sales of vehicles at the auction could actually be used for city purposes because those vehicles were actually owned by the city, not the police department. And one of the things that there was an issue with was that those vehicles were never brought before the council to surplus them. They were just being auctioned for approval because those vehicles didn't belong to the PD. They belonged to the city, but the police department was setting up the auction, putting them up on the auction, but there's no documentation to show that they ever came before the council, which I think at one time you were.
It came before council and they elected to have a local auction person to go ahead and handle those.
No, but it was for approval to surplus those vehicles. So it wasn't, it has to come through,
Not every vehicle does that because the police department actually gives an opportunity to the city to keep cars. And so the PD would come before the city council and say, we got this truck, do you want it? And then,
Well,
matter of
that's-
fact, there's like 3 vehicles that.
okay, well, I mean, we can go back and forth here, but my understanding of the law, those vehicles never belong to the PD. So for the PD to come over here and say, hey, do you want to keep it? That wasn't, it didn't belong to the police department, it belonged to the city. So, and I mean, Epi, you can, I guess, do the research at some point, but that's my understanding from what we've discussed in the past, so.
So there's this is where the financials were kept. So
And that was just a spreadsheet from where?
the account.
And no vehicle ID or nothing, it just says this.
So
Is that-
where is so how much is in the impound account right now?
The sheet.
It's in that sheet.
It's in the sheet there.
I didn't see it.
It's in
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
We don't have that one.
there.
yeah, you should.
Let's just see. I know we don't have it.
So right now it's got about 37,000. But I transferred to checking
Yeah, 34.
31,000, then 40,000.
And Happy, on that thing with the surplusing of the vehicles, I talked to, I don't remember her name, it's a TML, but you might want to call Bill or just email Bill Longley to get his understanding, because it was a young lady that I spoke to on the phone, and this was a while back, and I think you and I discussed some other things that we're all kind of talking about the same thing at one point, so.
If you take the money from the impound and you take the municipal money that the city gets to keep, and take out those expenses from the impound that weren't listed in here, the total deficit would be for 21-22, 394,000.
You said deficit?
Deficit, so it'd be negative 394,000 for 21-22, 22-23, 522,000.
So where did that
that's-
money go?
But some of this is capital projects. So we would add that back. That wouldn't be your operating, that would just be money the city spent.
There would still be a
They didn't never
deficit.
had capital projects.
Well, building.
That was done before the police department. Police department building was done. So how would you put more money into something's already done? Wouldn't it? When we get in
They
there?
had,
Police department was already
they
done
had
before.
expenses.
They had to fix it up.
Again?
When they went in there.
They redid,
with the EMS.
Yeah, but they.
outside.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to redo it. And then they did the inside. You can say when they had to do
Well,
that.
some contractor got
They
rich.
also came in after a storage container.
So, Ms. Lisa, since you're able to get from that, I can't remember, what do you call it?
The chart?
The information that you,
OCA?
the OCA, since you're able to pull information annually for each year from the OCA, is there any way that we can compare that to deposits into the bank for that year?
Yes.
So I think that's something that we need to look into, because I know that Sal was looking into, and he was going through a list of citations over the years, and was finding some discrepancies, but I don't think that he understood how to access that information to the OCA. But since you're able to access what was collected as far as citations each year, if we can look into, since we're finding a lot of discrepancies here,
Okay.
to make sure that deposits for those particular years match up to what
Okay.
we were collecting.
Yes, I can do that.
For like the 2019, 2020, the PD's capital projects were 191,000.
That's for 2019, 2020.
So what,
And I did group some of the smaller stuff in there just because whenever you're building something, it's like, how much did that building cost? It's not like, well, I just wrote one check and it was 100,000. It's like, well, the plumbing was separate.
we could have bought a new building for that much.
So it was basically broken up into little,
There may be
not little,
there
but
might be some little
expenditures,
expenditures that were like, well, that's,
but they were all part of that.
you're getting it ready.
Okay.
Because the court was already built, and we were using the sheriff's only. Because we would house them there in the front portion. So we had already made that expense.
Okay. Any more questions?
The body building.
And then I created a projection of what it would cost to have a police department. With 1 employee, 2 employees, 3 employees. And I used the 65 and then 55 for each additional afterwards.
Do we have that?
Yes.
We do? Go ahead.
I need some notes on that.
It would be
Let me see. Hold on. Let me get there, miss. What does it look like? Okay. Is it further back? Hold on.
Right after those.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, what's the final number of those? There's other stuff missing on that police thing too. I saw a lot of stuff missing.
So are you breaking up the municipal court or you're just adding municipal court and PD together since?
I'm adding it, I'm keeping them together since you will have.
For the purpose of this information, you're
Yeah.
keeping them together. Okay.
But they're broken out 164 for the police department with one sheet. But this is the normal operating expenses that you should expect every year. This would include expenses that would carry over from this year to the next year, like if you're buying a police vehicle, you shouldn't need to buy a new police vehicle
Right.
every year.
Right.
So those would be capital funds.
Go back up a little bit. Let me go down a little bit. Let me just see. Is there training in there?
And this is used based on, these numbers are based on what numbers were in there.
There's a lot of stuff missing in there.
So police
And they
department,
have been put underneath the
yeah, I know that the numbers, you're using numbers that were in Excel, I mean, in Encode in the past, or Yeah, those numbers are not going to be real. They were moved around as needed. So the police department, just based on the numbers that you have with one person, is 164,000. With two people, 239,000, and with three, which is two officers and a chief, would be 314. But then we have to also consider, the judge was explaining that if we do activate the police department, we would have to hire a
Security?
caseworker. What is it called? What was it?
Youth diversion case manager.
A youth diversion case manager, which would probably be another 55. What is y'all's charge? What does y'all's get paid over there? Okay, okay. So about 50, I think your police officers start off at about 51,000 there in Aransas Pass. I think that's what I saw on the posting, because they were trying to fill 4 positions that have been vacant for a while. So we would have to add that. Okay.
So it was, so the amount for PD was 164 for the normal operating cost. But like in the past, the capital fund, the average that we spent was 61,000 a year. So if we didn't buy anything, we would have to buy something. It'd be 164 plus 61,000. And then we've also had grant money of about 70,000, which we won't have that. So that would be probably city we could pay until we get grants.
And then the municipal court, what would be what would be the total with both a municipal court being run plus?
275,000 for both of them.
So that would be one police chief and a municipal court, 275,000.
What's she gonna get, she gonna put hers? in?
Plus the clerk, I guess.
An attorney in there also? Got paid?
It's 270. The 5 is just for the rest. The attorney is 270.
And then is impounding in there also? So we got to put impound in there also.
Well, we wouldn't have.
If you don't want the impound lottery, a lot of municipalities do, it's hire a local record service and then they handle it, but then they'll make all the money, we won't. So, and I think that was a lot of the complaints that people had. So, if we don't want to deal with that, then we can just give that up to the local record service. You'll handle everything.
It was an extreme amount that came from the impound.
Oh, supplies.
And I know there was controversy not here, but like this statewide on the impound stuff.
So these total expenditures, that's total put together.
Yes.
What are we looking at there?
427, 502, and 578. This would be with capital, if we had a grant.
How much of this are you already paying for right now? And how much
It
of this
would
do
be
you?
about, it would definitely be all of municipal.
So out of the 164,
112, and then we're still paying for things like the insurance,
Mhm.
Utilities.
So you're not
Building
splitting
maintenance.
these in 3? When you put office supplies and utilities, are you splitting it in 3?
Not the office supplies, but utilities, I believe it still is.
Why would you split it in 3?
Because there's 3 entities there. You're paying $185,000 a year for ambulance service. They make a lot of money. We don't get anything for it. We even house them. We even
That's
pay
what
the
you-
electricity, we pay for the plumbing, so why can't we start charging them for that? Our accountant,
Was it
splitting
EMS?
three.
Well, we are splitting it into three, but I guess it's a part of the contract that they get.
Right.
Everything paid for.
Well, the contract's already.
Right, that's what
So out of the 164, how much are we already using out of the 164? How much are we paying for?
What is the court expenditures right now?
It would be the 112.
That's right now without the PD and just the judge plus the utilities and is the court clerk still under the court or is she, so she's being paid still out of the court? Okay.
112?
111.52, is that what you're saying?
111?
So 112,000?
112,000?
So if,
I'm not, oh, well, yeah, I guess.
so if we don't start up the PD, we continue paying 112,000 until we recuperate all the 4,000 cases, pretty much. After that, well, you do away with the court.
Well,
There's
by
not
then-
gonna be anything-
Well, hopefully we
Yeah.
get PD by then.
Well, I mean,
Because
By
you're,
then?
you're already,
yeah, you're still gonna be,
Right.
we're still gonna be over. Yeah,
But Jesse, but my concern is there's a cap. After a while, they'll tell you, you know what? You're not being active, we're gonna shut you down. You're gonna have to start all over again.
well, I mean, and the process to starting all over again,
It
it's
might
not
be
very,
better.
very difficult. I mean,
That's what you
it's,
say, but we tried
I've
for
talked
years.
I can't even remember his name, Matiko. And based on the amendment, new amendment that was passed out, they try to make it a little easier, but you have to meet certain criteria. And I think that, I don't know if we talked about it or not. About, having the sustainable revenue for 5-year minimum, all that kind of stuff. So the state tried to make it a little easier, but they did say, okay, we're going to make it easier for the process, but you have to meet this criteria. And if you can meet this criteria, the process is kind of easy. It's what I understand from the gentleman
You're
with
not reinventing
Tico.
the wheel either. Everything's pretty much, you know what to do. You need a police officer, blah, 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 blah. There's a checklist already.
Yeah, and then we have some people here that can start us out on the right, get everything in order, especially with the CPA that we have. Get all our books in order so we make sure that get our grant policies in place, get our financial policies in place, everything that we told the state during our audit, the grant audit, that we would take care of, that we're still trying to.
The grant audit was mainly to create a ledger. And when you have a grant, just to keep it in a ledger and don't put the money in the general fund, because that's when you're gonna create a problem.
Right.
And if we did
That's
have
what
like that just in that ARPA bank account, that's what that is.
Right.
Yeah, but I guess E-Grants was handling all that for us at the time. So we didn't have to worry about, how the reporting was being done. So,
Got DD over there.
right, exactly. So you guys handle everything as far as reporting and everything to the state, so.
About 13,000 is how much we're paying for it without anybody being there. And that's more of like, because we're just dividing it out 3 ways.
Right.
We could just divide it out between court and EMS.
Yeah, I don't know how we would divide it out for EMS, since EMS,
And we just, I guess, put it into a budget line item.
okay, as far as an expenditure.
Yeah, if we didn't have the EMS, then.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that when we had the police department, San Pat County charged us an amount of money to have their services in conjunction with the police department. Why wouldn't that be considered in this police department breakdown?
At the time, from what I'm speaking to the sheriff's department and stuff, they were not charging us on the days that we didn't have coverage. They just covered for us because by law, they're required to. So we weren't really paying the sheriff's department at that time to cover like weekends and evenings and stuff like that. We do, and we still pay the sheriff's department for dispatch services because we still have the ambulance and we still have the fire department. But that was the only thing that we were paying the sheriff's department at that time was for dispatch services.
The commercial, remember, Billy, you did that thing with the news and you said, why are we gonna pay Zampat $150,000?
No, we're paying Sampat 200,000.
Or 200?
Yeah, but they were covering
That
24/7.
won't come back, we won't have to pay that again if we reinstate.
I mean, that's always an option that the council can consider.
Is a
I
problem.
did find, and I didn't look to see what that was, but I did find an intergovernmental agreement that was in the financials for $50,000 at the beginning.
All these years, was it every year?
It was just 1 year for 50,000. So I
Maybe
didn't.
the tail end,
check
probably.
before 'cause I didn't know
When they probably
that was.
switched over, maybe. It might have been when they switched over.
58,000 was the total for that year.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the sheriff's office, they weren't able to handle city ordinances. So that's why we departed ways, because they weren't able to do that. The Sinton was, because we had Sinton before, like 4 or 5 years. And they were charging us 185,000, but then they had a new mayor that came in, so he upped it to 225,000 via fax. So the council decided to part ways
Oh,
as well.
Sinton Police Department.
Yeah, at that time they were
Some of
coming.
these that are being
Yeah.
collected are still from Sinton and the county.
So at the time that the county was here, the city had I guess, an MOU with the county that they would provide coverage for us. They had specific deputies that were assigned to Odem to cover the 24/7, 7-day-a-week coverage. But, they only did, I mean, they were also doing traffic stops and criminal calls, which right now they still do, but the traffic stops go to the JP, not to the city of Odem, because we don't have that agreement with them. So the JP, anytime they stop somebody for a traffic violation within the city limits, it still goes to the JP because we don't have that agreement with them. But back then, yes, you are correct, and they were covering 24 hours. And right now, they do have an officer in the general area of Odem. But of course, they cover Bethel, the outskirts behind Taft, Edroy as well. So their response time is somewhere around 5 to 8 minutes in some cases. But as you all saw recently, when we had the person that got electrocuted, they were here. When we had that shooting, not only was the county here, but DPS was also here. And we actually even had, because they needed more assistance, we had an officer from Taft respond to that incident. So they're still here. I mean, and they still out there. I know DPS. I left this morning, and there was 2 DPS troopers out this morning. So there's something going on. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Ms. Betsy. We're kind of going off here. So Liz, we'll get back to you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sorry. I think that was it.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
No. It was in, you got dry mouth. That's it? So the round up for new PD, can you show that number again?
So I know that we spoke about this in the past. Over the last 2 years, just the last 2 years, the city's pooled cash account was working under deficit, correct, Ms. Betsy?
Well, she wasn't here.
Well, she's looked at that information in it. Was there a
She's never
deficit?
been able to show us though.
just say with how the financials.
Okay,
Not
yeah,
Not unless the consultant could prove that.
yeah,
Because the consultant came in and said, hey, y'all need to raise the water and the garbage and sewer because you haven't raised it. And that's how you're gonna make money and that's all you can prove.
right.
It's like at the end of the day, it's like how much money is sitting in the bank account is how much your fund balance is, and I think that's how it was used to be being tracked, was that way. But doing it that way, we weren't able to see how much do we have in the security, building security fund? How much do we have in little in each bucket?
Cool. All right, any more questions?
A lot of work making things.
Thank you both
Thank you.
very much for obtaining this information for everyone. So let's go ahead and was that part of the historical review as well? So did we go into that item B as well? Okay. So we will move to item C, the quarterly report, Judge.
You sure you want to get up now, Justin?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Ever since I got appointed and realized about what was going on with the financial, I had a big concern, and I really commend Ms. Hernandez and Ms. Soto for all the hard work. I know I kept coming up before y'all and kept expressing my concerns and the different pots and all of that, and y'all have broken it down to where I believe the council can relate to it, and, it's very time consuming, but I think we'll get there. Thank you. It makes my explanation a lot clearer. Usually around this time on the quarterly report, it's a good one, and because of the income tax and people trying to renew their driver's license. So as we see, this is our according to the second quarter. The collection for the second quarter is $34,507.10. And the way it's broken down, as it was explained, the city stays with $28,025.08. Out of here, like it was previously explained, this is where the monies are taken out of the different pots that Ms. Hernandez was explaining to y'all. And then the remaining will go to the general fund. What we will be sending to the state controllers is $6,482.02. So adding both of them, we have collected $34,507.10. The activity that we have had is in the court is the restrooms are not, they're running, but I believe the flooring is still needs to be completed. And there is like a hole on the wall, and that needs to be finished. I don't know who's going to be doing that, but it does affect like the privacy when you use it. So I don't know if the contract's supposed to be back, or I don't know if the situation is there.
I haven't seen a hole. We'll go take a look at that. I hadn't seen a hole. Is that in the small bathroom? Is in the small restroom that's in the hallway?
Yes.
Or,
That we have
okay, okay.
You have somebody working on
Yeah, well, we had, thought it was finished, but we'll have to go look at it.
It's where actually where the pipe is, where they install that pipe.
Okay.
And they then caulk it, or I don't know what they have to
Okay.
do with it. And I don't know what the plans are for the flooring.
They're finishing up on the flooring right now, so that should be getting done pretty quick, so.
So today.
They were there
They
today.
were there today, I believe, working
Mhm.
on the flooring. They sent us pictures.
Oh, okay, on our side, because I know they were.
I think on both sides, it looked like a small restroom, the picture that they sent.
Who's working on it?
Yeah.
Um,
They were working
I
on
don't know who's going to.
Contractor.
What contract?
Weatherspoon.
Oh, what is
Oh,
going?
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Other than that, I've asked, Ms. Hernandez to assign, the court clerk to spend more time over there so they can start, revising more of the cases. Because in the past, we were not able to spend much time in that area because of the smell and, there's a bit still, there's a bit of the smell, but it's something that we can work around. There's still a lot of cases that need to be reviewed. And so, having her over here at City Hall and, her moving the cases back and forth, it's not the same for her to stay and work with those cases there and have access to it. And it's kind of hard to doing that if we could assign her like at least 2 days or 3 days out of the week, and I feel that much can be done.
Well, I think that in the recent, she has an issue with being out there by herself because we've had contractors coming and they're all male contractors. So she doesn't feel comfortable from speaking with her in the past, being over there by herself for a long period. So, so I think that we can work with, but make sure that she's going to feel comfortable and make sure that there's nobody else out there, while she's out there. I don't want her to feel unsafe while she's over there. So
Do the cameras work?
they do, but I don't know if they're still recording. So that's kind of the.
Their cameras are working. And then, I got IT to go look at the cameras and they were actually turned off or not working. He said it might have been electrical since August of 2025, but we reset them and they're working now.
Does she have to be over there?
I'm sorry?
Does she have to be over there? Can't be over here?
Well, she's been working with case. She's been working cases over here.
Right.
But her computer.
Moving cases over to City Hall, taking them back, and it's not the same as being here and having, access to the cases.
I mean, she's been working. I mean, she's been working. She's because we don't have anybody over there, and she just doesn't. I mean, for her to be over there by herself, even myself would feel uncomfortable with her just being because we do have the EMS guys, you know, out there still, and then of course we had these contractors working in there as well. So
I don't know if the contractors have been there lately, but anyway, I believe that we can resolve that if we could have the door locked and if they have any business there, maybe they can call her and maybe,
well, I think we'll let that go through Miss Lisa.
Yeah, the
That
contractor's
she's
really good about letting you know whenever they're gonna get, they're gonna be there. So once I know that they're there, I'll let the clerk know.
Do you have copies of this report? Do we have one?
No.
Okay.
It's the last one out of the.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. The last one.
No, the last one with 18, 19,
Oh,
20.
okay. All right. So I do have a question, and I guess Epi and either one of you, are there any cases right now that you guys are considering and just closing out because they've been too long? Lineberger's made attempts to contact. I mean, have y'all met with Lineberger or had that conversation?
We had a conversation with late last year on that. And they had a list of cases, and I think at that time we asked them to hold on to them a little bit more to see if we could actually, generate some income off of those. And maybe those are some of the cases that came in early this year. So, but we need to sit down and revisit that and see where we're at with them.
That's it, having her over there and pulling out some reports and that way she can start pulling these cases out. It's pretty hard, being at City Hall and then, for her to be doing that.
Well, I think if y'all sit down with her and Miss Lisa together and go over the cases so she can have a list of the cases she needs to review and not just be over there all day, you know, for 8 hours by herself, locked in a room. So, you know, I want to, I mean, again,
And that's, we have, like, I call them little projects that we can work on, so we can start cleaning some of these cases, but, it's pretty hard to do that, or being over at City Hall, because, she's not able to pull these cases out. If she's allowed to work over there for, I don't know, half a day, for, you know, we need to work on some schedule so we can start working on that. And then Effie and I can get together.
well, maybe we could just move the whole the whole city hall over there to that building, and she could be there every day.
There's
So,
plenty of room.
exactly. So, anything
It's a nice
else?
building.
Yeah. Anything else on the report, ma'am?
If y'all don't have any questions,
I got a question. When they pay the traffic tickets, where do they pay it?
online, or they come in and make a payment for it.
And that goes through Encode, or is they going through
Still going through Fund View.
still fund you?
You got to close.
And then online, it goes directly to the bank.
Yeah, we're still gonna have to close out those as, as we transition, if we, at some point, we're gonna transition back to Encode, we still have to close out everything that's in Fund View because of the issue that it might throw off the financial system, so.
So you haven't had court yet?
The cases that we have reviewed, they have already had I was looking at having show cause cases, like cases that, have not, that have defaulted because they have not, keep up with their payments. And, so I had, Patricia go over some of those cases. And what we have found out is that they have already had their hearing. So, I mean, they already had their show cause hearing. And so, what I have her working right now is doing those cases that have driver's license to make sure that we already have a hold on their driver's license.
Go to the next step.
Yes, that's what we're working on right now. So, we're just looking for any avenue to put a hold, and, once they want to renew it, we're not gonna be able to. So that's what we're working on right now. But the cases that we have already touched, they already have that's what I was looking for, in having show cause hearings, but the cases that we have already reviewed, they already went through that.
I'm asking because of Senate Bill 42, you've got to have a security committee, which is involves you, city staff,
Yeah, the
The
mayor,
attorney,
the
whatever,
court security.
and
yes.
a plaintiff,
Yeah.
the bailiff. The bailiff could be,
The court security officer.
yeah, could be an officer for the court.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we need to have a court security.
right. And that's where the security fund comes
Right,
into
yeah.
play to pay the
Right.
bailiffs.
That's where
Right.
once we start having any hearings, we can get monies out of that fund. With the court security. So,
Thank you, Judge.
if y'all don't have any questions, can I get excused?
Yes, ma'am, thank
Y'all
you.
have a nice evening.
You too, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to discussion and action items to be considered. Item A, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the special call meeting held on March the 14th, 2026. I have a motion.
Make motion to approve the special call meeting for March 14th, 2026.
I have a motion by Alderman Falcon. Do I have a second? Second by Alderman Veit. I will open up to discussion. I think it was a pretty short meeting, so does anybody have any questions, or if not, we can go ahead and move on to a vote. Place 1?
Yes.
Place 2?
Yes.
Place 3?
Yes.
Place 4?
Yes.
Place 5? Can you pass this on to Ms. Lisa, please? Item B, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the 2-foot variance on each side of the house property located at 1302 Cook Avenue.
Motion to table?
So I have a motion to table. So I have a
Second.
second. I have a motion to table by Alderman Falcon, second by Alderman Dominguez. I'll open it up to discussion.
The address is wrong.
The 1302.
It's 1304.
It is 1304.
Okay.
It's
So-
1304.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesse was correct earlier where I talked to the lady, she says her and her husband owned it, but before he passed, they switched the names to the daughters.
But that's like something to everyone, when you visit in the state, is it going through states, will or anything?
No, however, it's not state law or anything that we have to get. We just do it out of courtesy. If you go to other municipalities, and Epic, you could probably vouch for this. Other cities, when they go and ask for variance, they don't even get letters from the neighbors. I called a couple of contractors that build.
But that's an ordinance. It's in our ordinance.
It's not an ordinance.
In our ordinance it is. Planning and zoning.
It's signature.
Yeah, I read something about that.
Yeah.
I was trying to look for it. couldn't
I
find a
found
signature.
something that it is required.
Yeah.
Is it?
I haven't been able to print it up yet, but it is
I'm looking for it too,
required.
but I
Yeah.
remember.
He did mention that if they don't sign, he just might build a duplex.
Well,
Then he's gotta go
Well-
planning and zoning again.
Yeah.
Right, well, yeah, but
So-
again, but he's gonna comply with the 7 foot. So
Yeah.
that's what he's saying.
I think in the future, Miss Lisa, and I know that Mr. Alderman Huerta was kind of helping you out because probably the first one that you've run into. But, and yeah, in the future, if you can kind of take the lead on something like this, but also be aware that Alderman Huerta does have some previous experience, but also does Alderman Garza and actually pretty much everyone up here except for myself. So you can probably reach out to anyone to kind of help you through navigate some of those things going forward. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and table the item. Item C, discuss, consider, and take action. Oh, we got to vote. I'm sorry, to table. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2,
Yes.
place 3,
Yes.
place 4,
Yes.
place 5. So motion to table carries. Item C, discuss, consider, and take action to approve reinstating the police department. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to motion to table this since we have all this information to get some accurate information on money.
So I have a motion by Councilman Falcone to table this item. Do I have a second? I have a second by Alderman Garza to table. So is there any discussion or we just move on to a vote? I think we've had a lot of discussion.
Table for how long?
Whenever I think you get your numbers pretty much correct. And Betsy,
Or we also, when we get the CPA to reconcile some of these bank accounts and we start to be able to set this in the correct systems. So moving forward, if we do reinstate that, we can,
Something needs to be like addressed at the current state of the police station, as far as somebody with legal or law background go in there and do
an audit type.
an audit of everything, and
It's just working.
because whenever someone, if the police department never happens, or whenever it does happen, at some point, someone's gonna need to go in there
Right.
and go through everything.
And can we check also the date of when's like the deadline? Make sure that-
well, I think I'll get with you. I know that there's been some cases that the sheriff's department took over and they had to come and get evidence. The evidence room, we don't get into. It's closed. I think we've only been in there once or twice because they were looking for some evidence that the PD had collected. But I think we should just get with you to see how we can, maybe somebody can come and they can audit everything because it's just kind of, it's a very messy evidence room. So we need to.
Just like start almost like,
Orders
There's a
and
lot
all
of
that
things in
stuff.
boxes still
That
that
way we
haven't been
know
opened.
we're building a budget, how many computers.
Especially if we're gonna start it up again, it'll be like from
Yeah.
Yeah,
on.
I agree.
With probably Encode instead of FundView.
Okay.
So you would have to get an officer to go into the evidence room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, and that's why I wanted at least the police chief hired for now. It's not gonna be right now anyway.
Yeah.
Hire the police chief. Once we hire him, then he can go in with the city administrator. Because he's the one that's gonna be the key person to run the PD.
Well,
That's why I was
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because right now, there's a lot of illegal dumping.
Well, I think that,
There's, there,
I think we need to,
so we've been a policy.
so I think once we get with the CPA and we have our accounts are in a better situation and there, we can account for everything in the correct way. But in the meantime, I'll get with you, Epi, and we can see either through the Rangers, if the Rangers have to come in, or if the county can just come in to kind of help us out with that. Okay. All right. So we'll move on. We have a motion to table the action to approve the reinstating of the Odem Police Department by Councilman Falcon and second by Alderman Garza. We'll move forward to a vote. Place one,
No.
place two,
Yes.
place three.
Yes.
Place four,
Yes.
place five. So motion carries 1 no and 4 yeses. Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Vargas, I have completely forgot. Okay.
But I think we're going in the right direction with what they're doing with these numbers. I think we can get there. I like what they're doing.
I agree. We already went through that. Item E, discuss the water plant inspection and TCQ report that was received on March 16th. This is just a discussion item. Do I have a motion for discussion?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Alderman Garza, second by Alderman Falcon, and I'll go ahead and open it up for discussion. We received this, this was a report an inspection that was done in August of 2023. TCQ, which is the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, came in and did an inspection and found a long list of violations. And the penalties that they are assessing total $162,000. However, I want to just assure that we do have TCQ is going to meet with Ms. Lisa to try to come up with a plan to be able to address some of these. Some of these some of those issues that were found back then have already been taken care of over the last 2 years. But there's still some that have not been addressed yet. And specifically, like I told TCQ, it's been funding issues. I mean, a lot of this stuff is cost. The other thing that I've been looking into is there was a contractor that we had before that was paid a little over $500,000 to do a lot of repairs on this wastewater treatment plant. And I can't verify that any of that work was ever done. There's invoices, very general invoices that say service at wastewater treatment plant, service at lift station 1, but we don't know what they did, but they were paid. And so we're trying to figure out if a lot of the issues that were found in the inspection were things that this particular contractor was supposed to have addressed at the time, because he invoiced, I mean, we're talking about $700,000 worth of work that I can't verify whether it was done or not. Because TCQ came in and found all these violations in areas that he was supposed to have addressed. That's been a concern, I think, from the very first meeting that we had. I think Alderman Huerta actually was the one who identified the concern, and we've been looking into this for 2 years now. And we can't figure out what all that money was paid to this gentleman to do. He spent tens of thousands of dollars on chemicals. The city knew he was buying chemicals, but the city wasn't licensed to use chemicals. So we allowed one of our contractors to violate what the city was licensed to do. And we're not talking about $10,000 worth of chemical. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in chemicals that were used without, and that's actually one of the violations that they found when they came in. The ultraviolet light system that we were supposed to have.
Thousands and thousands of chlorine.
And that's illegal.
That's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
So it says it on the.
We can't even confirm that the E. coli tests that he was submitting were valid because he was using chlorine on the back end, which would have, they don't test for chlorine. He was using chlorine on the back end, which would, of course, would change the results of those tests to be able to pass the E. coli test. Well, once that chlorine is washed through, we don't know what was being pumped to the back area. After that, he grabbed his sample and took it to the lab. It passed. And I can just tell you from what TCQ told me, for 6 years, they did not receive one single report from the city of Odem for accidental discharges. He said, I know you guys are not that good because every city in this within the San Patricio County has submits on a regular basis. You know what? The manhole overflows. It overflows. It happens, right? That's what they say, you know? But you have to report it. For 5 to 6 years, I think he said, 5 or 6 years, no reports to TCQ for nothing. We were running perfect. But we were spending over $500,000 to pay this man, and I can't justify or find what exactly he did, other than just spend tens of thousands of dollars on chemicals that the city knew he was using, and we weren't licensed to use.
Do we have repercussions against this person?
I called and speaking to TCQ about it. As we know, I mean, the gentleman works different cities. We would have to really be able to prove, which is what we're kind of going to have to try to work on, because this is not acceptable. That we are going to be they're looking to fine us $162,000 in stuff that it should have been taken care of if we're going to spend $700,000 to any contractor, whoever it is. So we're still looking at that, but I can tell you right now that the city at the time was aware of the chemicals that were being used, which is not only, and they were not reported, but he was told not to report it by the city. There was a letter given to the gentleman not to report it, not to hire contractors that were going to report, which is, again, not only is it unethical, but it's against the law.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have the letter?
Yes, sir, we do.
And so the inspection was, he came in and inspected, and then we hired somebody to fix it, and then he came back and inspected again? Or is this just something that needs to happen on a day-to-day basis?
What are we talking about?
The violations that he found.
The TCQ.
First of all, did you go with it on the?
Oh, yeah. On
You
this
did?
inspection, the August inspection,
did?
I did.
Okay.
The ones that attended was the mayor, Jesse, and the bookkeeper. So a lot of this stuff that they're charging us on, you've already done it.
Some of it, yeah.
Because you hired GMF Repair, and there's records of it.
Mhm.
You hire Chemtex,
Mhm.
you hired Gameco,
Genco,
because I remember you mentioned the vacuum trucks.
right.
Because there was grease and sludge in the lift stations. So basically, I think what happened is y'all need to follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't think y'all completed all that because this comes from Austin. Whatever region reports to Austin, then they follow through.
Yeah.
So somebody didn't close it out.
And I can tell you, that probably, being that we had our city administrator, it probably wasn't something that we followed up because we're still trying to
Okay.
repair other things.
Right, no,
But you
that's
are
fine.
correct. We have,
But-
like I
but
said, some of this,
sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years. It's not the first time that we've gotten violations.
Right.
We've gotten violations forever, all the time. Even Jesse could remember, Isaac, that we got violations when Billy Joe was here. But what they do is they want you to do a SEP program. The SEP program is a supplemental, it's on page 2, but it does say that we have 15 days from the day of March 16th. I'm hoping that maybe Lisa can call and say, you know what? There's holidays, there's weekends, so I think we are at the, close to the.
we've already
15 days.
emailed them. We've already
That's
reached
what
out
I'm
to them.
saying.
Yeah, we already emailed
Yeah,
them. We
but-
got an email
But
and sent
we
to them.
need to have a meeting and approve the SEP program. I've got copies of how you can apply application with a SEP application. It's very easy, but it's long work. The person that did it for us was John Valls. He's done 2 or 3 for us. I'm saying if we can hire that guy just for that, that's it. Hey, you're only gonna handle this. We can negotiate a price. He'll run with it and he.
Well,
will
let's
have
just
results.
see what TCQ says when we meet with them. I think you're supposed to meet with them. On-
Next week?
Yeah, I think so.
Schedule?
Well, that's the consultant that they're sending in
But
to
is it,
review.
is it regarding this?
Yes, that was, let me see here.
Because I want you to ask about the SEP program.
Yeah, and I did. Let me go to that email real quick. This was from Harley Hobson. Harley is the enforcement coordinator. He is in Austin. He sent an email and he he said he'd be available tomorrow from 8 to 4. So,
Oh, okay, I got that email.
yeah.
Right, they did that.
So she's going to be meeting with the coordinator from Austin because the people here in Corpus, when I talked to them about the SEP, they said the only issue that might come up, Mayor, is that you guys had a previous SEP and it was never closed out. He said, so I don't know if they're going to agree to giving y'all another one, but we have to I hope they understand that I mean, I'm sure they keep up with everybody, all the cities. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to talk to Mr. Hobson tomorrow and let him know what our situation has been in the past. We have corrected. We do have that consultant that they're sending in on the 13th, I think it is, and I'll be available to go around with him as well to go and look at everything and kind of give us an idea of what we need to work on and focus on and what it might cost us. So, but I'll be available for that. But if you can reach out to Mr. Hobson tomorrow and tell him what we're going to try. I did email him and told him about that gentleman, Gary, that's coming from Houston to come in and do that walkthrough. So he knows who they are. So, and they were referred here by them. So, but this is another way for them to look at some of these violations and not us have to be fined again. It's like he'll go out here, he'll go through it and kind of give you all a report of what should be addressed first, and then we'll work with Mr. Hobson in Austin
To
about
me, it's
maybe
one of the
getting
most expensive.
Yeah,
They're all
so-
25,000.
How much of that's been fixed?
Yeah.
We've replaced some of the pumps. We have some of our lift stations have 2 pumps now working. But some of them at the wastewater treatment plant, one of the systems, which is the grit system that pulls the sand and grit, and I think Alderman Huerta probably knows a little bit more about this, but it separates the sand and debris and pebbles and stuff. That's been out forever. So a lot of that debris is going through the system and funneling through. So the impalers of the new pumps we just bought got worn out because the sand just eats everything up. So, and then some of the pumps that were in the lift stations, as we discussed, they were using chemicals to treat the lift stations, which they shouldn't have. Well, some of those chemicals were corrosive and were eating up the pumps. And these pumps are $18,000 a piece. And just to refurbish them at like 8 to 10,000, depending on the pump. So we do have contractors looking at refurbishing, but I think some of them we can't. I think they said we can't refurbish, so we'll have to purchase new ones. So we'll just have to meet with TCQ and later on this month, and I'll send a report to y'all to review because there's a lot. Any other?
I think I know which step you're talking about. That was in, well, they had hired a special managing consultant, so you already remember who that person is. He's the one that got denied and couldn't follow through with the set program.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, Mr. R, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We have received of your extension request. It says, and it says it's denied.
Denied. Exactly, and that's what they're talking about. I didn't want to really go into detail, but that is a
Because me and you had talked about the last one that we did. I got a letter that we did complete it, and basically it tells you it's final completion. So we did one in 2016 and we completed it in 2019.
right. And this was the other one that
The
came in,
one after.
afterwards. And that was the one that they said, since it wasn't done, they may not consider that. So we're just hoping, that I hope, and Miss Lisa, use your magic. Because as you know, that's
Well, going back to, you said that money, there's a way like Betsy kind of looks at checks and see how much was spent?
I think she has the report.
Oh, you have the report?
Because we've been looking at this for some time and we can pretty much tell you how much was spent and.
Jesse, which one are you talking about?
You can see the escalation of it.
Oh, when she said money, that 700-some thousand, she has
I
it.
have all that.
Oh, do you?
I've got receipts.
Oh, you got
I've got
receipts?
invoices. I've got everything. There was another contractor that was doing work and he milked it for 425,000. The guy, it was $200 job, boom, 3,000, 4,000. So they were just turning in receipts. The ones that me and the mayor looked at, they were identical. 5,000 for chlorine, and then 2 weeks later, another 5,000 for chlorine. So it was very consistent.
30 days worth of chlorine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a vacuum truck that the mayor investigated, and it was, so wait a minute, that company only used the vacuum truck once. The second time was not used, but it was invoiced for $36,000. So if you want it, I've got all that. I'll make you copies and I'll give you.
What can we do with it? I mean,
I think we can press charges and continue, but we've never moved on it.
What the councilman is referring to is there was an invoice for some work that was done. And when I spoke to the contractor, he said he had hired a third party to come out and do some vacuuming. They hired a super pump or whatever. So he gave me the name of the company out of Houston, I believe they were. So I called over there. This was a $70,000 total job. And when I called that company in Houston and I introduced myself, I told them I was trying to get invoices about some work they did. He said, Mayor, we've only done like one job in Odem and it was $6,000. So I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have any other work done in Odem. So when I told her about the man that was working with our contractor, she said, well, we fired that gentleman because there were some issues with doing some work on the side. So again, I can't verify that the work, like Councilman Huerta said, is these invoices were submitted, but we don't know if the work got done. They're just paying, But he wasn't reporting anything to TCQ, so.
So back then, the administrator, the city administrator, whatever, they could follow up. Kind of checks away.
Well, they had a special consultant.
So see about maybe they'll allow us after the gentleman from Houston comes, maybe we can work on the stuff. So we're gonna go ahead, and that was just a discussion item. Total on to item, reports provide an update on the status of closing the bank accounts and opening new accounts. This is just, and I think Ms. Lisa, I guess you can kind of fill us in, just brief. We had some, information that was released on social media, um, that had 4 digits of each account along with balances. The bank recommended that, we close those accounts and reopen them, as a different account just for safety, precautions. They said it was ultimately up to the city whether we were going to close them and reopen the new accounts. But as they said, since the city is already aware that this information was put out, if there are any discrepancies on the city's bank accounts, the bank is not going to be held responsible. So we did go ahead and move on. And where are we with that?
Trying to get like our anchor payments and our payments, we'll get into this report to be able to go directly into those new accounts. Currently, they're going into the old accounts in the base. Yeah, that is, that's been followed.
Okay. And there's no, I mean, I know there's when I last went to the bank, they said, well, we can't monitor your accounts indefinitely. So you guys need to decide, and I think we have a special meeting just for that to vote. So are they still monitoring for us, or is that something we need to do? We are. Okay, good. We'll just kind of keep up with that to make sure like that if they're not going to monitor the old accounts, maybe you guys can do like a daily, just go on, see if anything is coming up, just in case. So, but if they're still doing it, that's great. So,
Close out and start over from scratch. In the system. Like I thought we were gonna be able to do, but we don't have a hard close. So you can be back to the old account and it's kind of coming out of the new account. So hard to reconcile.
right. Okay. Well, hopefully we can work on that. So, item B here provide an update on the outcome of Easter in the park. Ms. Lisa, you did an amazing job.
So we had 35 vendors in attendance. That was more than 4,000 eggs collected in the egg hunt. We did about 44 Easter baskets to kids. There were some Easter eggs that were available for the kids to enjoy eggs and the turnout and participation exceeded our expectations. So I'm really happy and proud of that. And it was wonderful to see the many members and the community come together. I'm very grateful and lucky to have such amazing staff that helped me and make this even successful. I want to give a special thank you to Ryan Barber, who donated $100, and to council members of Slackwell, who donated $150. And we're excited to continue the momentum. So upcoming events are, to say the dates, is Halloween in the Park, which is Saturday, October the 24th, and Christmas in the Park, which is Saturday, December the 12th. So just say the dates for those. We don't have times yet, but I'm assuming that they will be in the evening because of the kind of occasions. So I'll keep updated on that. So I want to.
Well, I want to just tell you that I just kind of randomly started counting like kids when y'all were doing the Easter egg hunt, and I did a video and I counted almost 400 kids, and I probably missed some along the way because they were running like, but there had to have been at least 400 kids out there. That's not including their parents. And I spoke to some of the vendors, and the vendors were very pleased. They said, "We'll come back again. Just let us know," because they did very well. So thank you for the hard work that you guys did in the office. people don't understand that these eggs that we gave, that the kids picked up, were not filled with treats. They had to go and fill 4,000 eggs by hand there at City Hall, which I'm not always. I don't. I'm not always in favor of using city staff to do things like that, but as long as with you there and you guys are able to continue, then it's not going to affect the daily operations. Um, I appreciate what y'all did because that's a lot of work. I mean, I was watching y'all when I was there, filling every single egg and making sure putting a piece of Scotch tape on it because it wouldn't close right, and that's a lot of hands-on work. So um, we really appreciate it.
Can I, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
If they were working on company time, getting paid on company time, then I still don't understand why the Miss Lisa approached the EDC to reimburse them extra money.
We'll
Would
reimburse
that
the.
not, but wouldn't that be kind of double dipping?
Well, I don't think that there was, I don't know. I don't know what I think that's,
Because the reimbursement was because they were actually filling the eggs and sitting there. The Easter in the park that Sunday, they got the day off, and that was their choice. Either they were gonna get paid for it, or they were gonna take the day off, and they chose to take the day off.
Okay,
They get
but,
the comp time.
and then yes, and then they were all off yesterday.
Right, and that was part of Easter in the park.
But,
They were all there working.
But that,
so you paid them how much for
I didn't. So they got
For-
$75.
each person?
Well, not the guys. The guys didn't get that. Just the girls, because it was the girls inside there helping.
But they did it,
I mean, this was addressed in the EDC. All of this was addressed in the EDC. I sent out an email on March the 11th, and nobody even responded to that or asked any questions then. And all of a sudden, we're asking all these questions.
Well, I think,
well, what I think that they didn't work. I mean, I know that I was there after 5, the week before, and y'all were still packing eggs after 5 when I was there, because they wanted to put me to work. So, but I don't know. Yeah, so I know, I mean,
just to FYI, Mr. Mayor, like Becky said, y'all were closed Monday. That's not part of one of our holiday schedules on our employee book. They should have came to the council.
Right, right.
To get that day off. That's the only thing I see wrong with having yesterday off.
and I think that we could do that in the future. I
Yeah,
think
it
this
just
was
said,
because this
yeah,
is
I
the
mean,
first.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind this.
yeah, because we give X amount of days
Yeah.
during budget time.
Right.
And keep in mind, if there's a hurricane, and then there's gonna be extra days that we're gonna have to tell people to leave, even employees. So
Yeah. Well, I don't think
mean,
that.
it was all right.
Yeah.
Just let things get in procedures.
Yeah, as far as a stipend, yeah, if it was done after 5, an extra, I'm okay with that, but if it's during working hours, then I would say it's double dipping.
Well, I think
But
that-
also the stipend that gets paid for the EDC pays.
The city,
work on the financial
3
part.
individuals, yeah.
right.
3 or 4.
Yeah,
So
they
I
already
think
get
that if they
That's
work,
for the
But
parties.
just on my defense, I came out on March the 11th and sent out an email to everybody, exactly what I was doing, and I got no response from anybody other than the man. And then we had an EDC meeting, and I told everybody what I was doing, even asked for volunteers, and nobody said nothing.
But I didn't-
And it is hard to get volunteers.
Yeah.
know what I mean?
and I think
That's true.
I think that it wasn't so much that the day off on Monday wasn't really a day off. It was just substituting for the day that they worked on a Sunday, because they were out there a lot longer than 8 hours. I know the ladies were, because, it was late into the evening. Yeah, so,
Why City Hall closed?
yeah.
well, yeah,
So-
because that's when people come into City Hall.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Next time I have an event like that, get with the 4-H or the FFA, because they have to do so
So,
many,
community,
community service for the record books. So if y'all tell me we're gonna need help putting prices on the H,
they'll send the 4-H kids in the afternoon, and they'll put eggs,
Right.
because they gotta do it for their record books at the end of the year.
That's always a good idea.
Halloween,
Reach out to the school for Easter. I mean, for,
I know the Western 4-H, they're always looking to do one or two community service a year. I mean, a month. So say you gotta give back or put on the Western 4-H, it's Miss Baylor, Lisa Baylor, and she'll send a group out here and they'll work with them. Can you tell them that we need them for Halloween?
yeah, you can reach out to them for Halloween and for Christmas. And, so, all right, do it. Do a second, all right. Vote, everybody in favor, say aye,
Hey,
You were outvoted.
Have a good one.